let's talk about something every single leader obsesses over. How do you get more top performers on your team? I mean, not just by getting lucky in the hiring process, but by actually systematically creating them. Well, today we're digging into a data-driven playbook that gives us a real answer to that exact question. So here's our game plan. We're going to follow this fascinating study from the International Journal of Human Resources Management by researchers Harry Joe and Herman Aguinis. And that's Aguinis. Yeah, like the beer. We'll kick things off with the core dilemma every manager faces, look at 4 different strategies they tested, see how the experiment played out, and then, most importantly, we'll unpack the winning strategy that you can actually use.
All right, so every leader knows this feeling. You've only got so much time, so much money, so many opportunities to give out. It forces you to make a really tough choice about where you're going to place your bets to get the biggest bang for your buck. And this, right here, is the classic debate, isn't it? Do you pour your resources into that promising new hire, the one who might be amazing down the road? Or do you double down on the proven veteran who's already crushing it right now? It always feels like this impossible either-or situation.
And just so we're all on the same page, when we talk about stars, we're not just talking about good employees. The study defines them as those true outliers, the people who generate way more value than everybody else. They can literally change the game for a company.
And that's exactly why this whole thing matters so much. Figuring out how to create more of these stars isn't just a nice to have. The research shows it can be the difference between a company that thrives and one that, well, doesn't. This is a high-stakes problem.
So here's that dilemma in a nutshell. On one side, you've got invest in potential. You play in the long game. On the other, reward performance. You're trying to win right now. For years, managers have been taught you kind of have to pick a lane. But what if that's not the right way to look at it at all?
And this is where the study gets really cool. See, the authors didn't just debate the two sides. Nope, they set up a kind of horse race between 4 totally different strategies to find out which one actually creates the most stars. Now, these weren't just random guesses they pulled out of thin air. Each of these 4 strategies is rooted in solid management theory. They represent the biggest schools of thought on how you should invest in your people.
So here are the 4 contenders. You've got the always potential plan, the show me the results plan, the all-in plan where you try to do both at once, and then this interesting one, the 2-stage plan. So before we go on, which one's your gut telling you is the winner?
To figure this out, the researchers needed a real-world lab, one with just mountains of clean data, and they found the perfect place, Major League Baseball.
And think about it, it's a brilliant choice. Performance in baseball is measured with ruthless objectivity. Every hit, every pitch, it's all data. There's no room to hide. This gives us super clean, high-stakes information to see what strategy really works.
And the scale here is just wow. First off, they analyzed 148 years of data. Then they looked at 280 different cohorts. A cohort is just a group of players who all started their careers in the same year. And all in all, they tracked the entire careers of nearly 17,500 individual players. This isn't just a small sample. This is massive.
So how did they actually measure these investment strategies?
Well, potential-based investment was measured by looking at a player's draft number. You know, how much hype did they have before they even played a game, and did that hype get them more playing time? And performance-based investment, well, that's linking playing time to what a player actually did on the field, their real stats. So you've got potential versus performance, all teed up for a massive head-to-head test. All right, so after sifting through all of that data, one strategy didn't just win, it blew the others away.
So which one was it? Which of those 4 playbooks actually produced the most star players? Was it betting on potential? Rewarding performance? The data came back with a verdict that was surprisingly elegant.
Here's the big reveal. The key wasn't about choosing what to bet on, it was about choosing when. The best strategy didn't pick one over the other. It used both, but in a very specific sequence. Check this out. In the early years of a career, think year 1, year 2, the only thing that consistently created stars was betting on potential. Giving those promising rookies a real shot, letting them work through their mistakes, that was the winning move. But then, the strategy does a complete 180. From about year 3 on, betting on potential did nothing. Zero effect. The only thing that mattered for creating stars at that point was rewarding actual, demonstrated performance. Results were all that mattered.
So, the clear winner is Hypothesis 3, the 2-stage playbook. It's a simple but powerful idea. You start by nurturing potential, and then you pivot hard to rewarding performance. Okay, so we know what works, but the next big question is, why? Why is this two-stage approach so much better than just sticking with one strategy the whole time?
Well, the data tells the story. Think of these numbers as influence scores. Look at the influence of potential. It stays pretty low and flat the whole time. But now look at performance. It starts out low, but then it just skyrockets, becoming way more important in the later years.
And it just makes total sense when you think about it. Early on, all you really have to go on is someone's potential. But as they build up a track record, that hard data becomes a much better signal of future success. The best managers just naturally shift their focus to where the better information is.
Now, this isn't just some interesting academic finding. The researchers ran a simulation to see what the real-world payoff would be. I mean, how much of a difference does this two-stage playbook really make?
So they set up a virtual competition. One organization used a kind of typical, mixed-up approach to promotions and opportunities. The other one followed the winning two-stage strategy perfectly.
And the results are just stark. The company with the typical approach, they produced 2 stars. But the company using the smart two-stage playbook, they got 5. That's more than double the number of star performers just by being smarter about when you invest.
But hold on, the story gets even better. It turns out this strategy doesn't just give you more stars, it gives you better stars.
Get this. In that same simulation, the #1 star produced by the winning strategy was over 5 times more productive than the best star from the standard approach. So not only do you get more of them, but your very best performer is on a whole other planet.
As the authors themselves put it, this strategy can translate directly to having more stars of higher quality. I mean, for anyone managing talent, that is the absolute holy grail. Okay, so this all leads to the most important question. How can you take this research and actually put it to work for your team in your organization?
Now, it's important to know this strategy isn't a magic wand for every single job out there. The researchers were really clear that it works best under a few specific conditions.
You need 3 things for this to really fire on all cylinders. First, it works best where individual contributions are clear and important, like in sales, or R&D, or software development. Second, you have to have objective, trackable data on performance. And third, it's places that focus on developing their own talent, not just hiring superstars from the outside.
So if that sounds like your world, here's the playbook. Plain and simple. Step 1. For your early career folks, years 1 and 2, find the high potential ones and invest heavily in them. Give them the chances to grow. Step 2. For everyone else, year 3 and beyond, you shift your focus completely. The best opportunities, the prime resources, they go to the people with the best proven track record.
So, there you have it. The data is pretty clear. The choice isn't potential or performance, it's potential then performance. You've got the playbook. The only question left is, how are you going to use it to build your next generation of stars?